Good morning, Somerset High School.
That's just not as good as Hunter does it.
Here are your Thursday announcements, because we don't have school tomorrow.
Do you ever wonder what the process of being earnest is? Come to the play and find out November 9th through 11th and bring your $6. Get in.
Now for some earnest news with Mrs. Donnelly and Mr. Probst on attendance.
Good morning, Somerset High School. Mrs. Donnelly here with
Mr. Probst. Happy Thursday, everybody.
Awesome. So typically when we make these videos, we've kind of been making them a little funny and quirky, but this one's a little bit more serious. Today, Mr. Probst and I are going to go over some of the rules and regulations around truancy. So here's how truancy works. By the state of Wisconsin, you have to attend school. And not attending school just simply is not an option. And we need you here because you being here is the best way we can ensure that you're learning and getting all the things that you need to be prepared when you leave Somerset High School. Right, Mr. Probst?
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Plus your teachers want to see you.
Yes, and we want to see you.
And your friends want to see you.
Perfect. So with truancy, throughout a semester, you get 5 excused school days in semester 1 and 5 excused school days in semester 2. That's a total of 10 excused days for the year. When you go over 10 excused days, then you become what's called truant. And anytime you are gone after those 10 days, you have to provide a doctor's note or a chiropractor note or some sort of professional note. Otherwise, those days are considered unexcused. And once you start to rack up unexcused days beyond those 10 that you kind of get, then you become truant. Mr. Probst and I complete paperwork and we send it to St. Croix County, and then you have to go in front of the St. Croix County judge and help explain why you're not in school. So that's kind of the bigger picture of truancy. Mr. Probst is going to talk about what's called period truancy.
So what period truancy means is a student is required to be in class. Everybody in our building has a schedule that you are to follow each and every day. We know that your Monday schedule looks different on Tuesday versus Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. However, we are 37 days into our school year as of Tuesday, so that means by Thursday that would be 39 school days to that point. So we're pretty confident that as 14, 15, 16, 17, or 18-year-old kids, we're able to navigate that schedule quite a bit better now. Some of the things that we're finding out, and some of you may know this already, each morning we get an attendance report from the previous day and we do some check-ins to kind of figure out why kids weren't where they were. What it comes down to is that you are expected to follow the schedule that you are assigned or that you helped choose. For example, if your schedule says weight training, you are expected to be down in weight training, not working with other teachers on other subjects, not in a flex space. You are expected to be in weight training. If your schedule says science, you are expected to be in science, not finishing up math assignments, not in one of the labs. You are expected to be in that designated class. Another scenario that we've run into is that on schedules it may say resource time, which is defined as being assigned to the resource center. There's all kinds of teachers there to help, there's computers there to work on, but bottom line, if your schedule says resource time, you are expected to be in the resource center, not in one of the other flex spaces or not with other teachers. From the teacher side of things, we can use your help by making sure that we're coding attendance properly. If a student's absent, please mark them absent. If they do arrive to class at some point, whether it's a conflict or they're tardy, please help us out and go in and change that before the end of the day and when we run that report. Bottom line, we need kids to be where they're supposed to be from a safety standpoint and, quite honestly, to get done what you need to get done, which is why we're in school.
Perfect. The last part on period truancy, as Mr. Probst and I are following up on any unexcused absences, if you miss a mod or maybe 3 mods in a row because you chose to skip civics, for example, then Mr. Probst and I would fill out the paperwork, give that paperwork to Officer Farrell, and you would be issued what's called a period truancy ticket, which is
$124, and that's a lot of Snickers bars.
No good. So we need you in class, we need you following your schedule, we need you to be where you need to be. And I want to follow up on one thing that Mr. Probst said as well in terms of being assigned to spaces in the room, or spaces in the building, excuse me, when you are what's called back scheduled. So sometimes we back schedule students where we remove flex time from their schedule and require them to be in a specific space in the building to get academic or behavioral support. That back scheduling piece on your schedule is not optional. If you are not attending a back scheduled mod, that again would be an example where you would potentially get a period truancy ticket, and you don't want to spend your money on that stuff. No good, right? So hopefully Mr. Probst and I have given you a great overview on truancy and the importance of following your schedule and being here every single day.
Do you like dressing up? Well, listen up.
Geez, Kyle, that costume looks pretty great. You know what? You should enter the 2nd annual Somerset Halloween costume contest. But remember, there are no masks, no violent themes or hats unless directly related to your costume.
Do we get prizes?
Maybe. Prizes will be awarded to all the winners. You should join the Halloween costume contest too.
Oh hey! Didn't see you there! Welcome to the Coliseum, your Somerset High School store! Oh, I'm mighty thirsty. How much is a cup of coffee?
$2.
$2? Oh, I only have $1.
It's only $1 first.
Oh my goodness, isn't that a great deal, Smarty? Are you thirsty? Here's a water bottle. You think it is? It should. You need something to put that in. Here's a bag. What do you think about all these deals? Yeah, it is. We got megaphones. We got sunglasses, chapstick, iPads, Beats headphones, and you can even get the keys to Cole's truck. America, baby! Yeah! Pay this man to come to your house and play guitar for you. Now for your viewing pleasure, Dancing Gorilla. So come on down to the school store. Everybody's doing it, and bring your money.
I bet you're wondering why I have this.
If you're looking for an opportunity to prove you can grow a gorgeous beard like mine, talk to Mr. Barry or Mr. Potter for more info on No Shave November.
Sports!
Cross-country race for the last time this year at St. Croix Central in the sectionals race. The weather, it was cold. The wind, brutal. The results, pretty good. The boys placed 7th overall out of the 15 teams there, and were led by myself and Thor Sanders, who placed 15th and 21st. The girls placed 10th overall, and the girls were led by Erin Herda and Kristen Vensland, who placed 40th and 21st. Stay tuned for the cross-country wrap-up.
The soccer team unfortunately ended their season on Saturday with a loss to Rice Lake, but it was a great season and one of the best seasons in their history. Stay tuned for a season recap coming soon.
The beatdown of GET took place last Friday, 46-6, as your Somerset Spartans football team beat them in their Level 1 playoff game. Their Level 2 playoff game is this Friday at 7 o'clock, hosted at St. Croix Central. Bring your money because it's not free, and wear all the blaze orange and camo apparel you have.
All right, what's up, Somerset High School? It's Mr. Probst, Assistant Principal and Activities Director. Happy Thursday. We got a 3-day weekend coming up here. But before we go, we have a couple of important announcements to make here with weekly announcements regarding to athletics and activities. Our fall season is starting to wind down. We still have a couple of things going on. Football goes to St. Croix Central Friday night for Level 2 playoff game. Remember, if you go to that game, students to watch, they do charge admission at playoff games. That's something that the WIA offices in Stevens Point, they require all schools to do that, whether they charge during the regular season or not. It's something that just has to happen. Also coming up in November, the second weekend in November, the fall drama performance will be taking place Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, so make sure and come out to check that out as well. But as we transition into the winter season, I wanted to throw out a couple of important dates and pieces of information for you so you're aware of them if you want to participate in a winter sport, which I would highly encourage you to do. This past fall, between our WIAA sports, football, boys soccer, girls golf, volleyball, and cross country, cheerleading, dance, and the fall drama performance, we had over 200 kids participating in those activities, which is awesome in a school of about 460 kids in our school. So almost quite to halfway for participation, which is awesome. The winter season, we have quite a few opportunities. We have cheer and dance, which are in full swing. We have a bunch of activities that are going on. I know robotics met and has started also, in addition to some other ones. WIAA sanctioned sports that we offer in the winter, starting on November 5th. We have girls basketball, boys hockey, girls hockey, and then on November 12th we have boys basketball and wrestling starting. Now if you're interested in participating in one of those sports, pay attention to the announcements. There's some preseason informational meetings coming up that those coaches will be announcing, but there's also some steps that you have to take in order to be able to begin practicing on those dates. The first step is, if you were in a fall sport, you need to turn in your equipment and uniforms to your coaches. Your coaches are compiling a list, sending me the list of names of kids that haven't turned in pieces of equipment or uniforms, and we have to check that list before you're clear to start a winter sport. So make sure you get your uniforms and equipment turned in, please. The second step is you have to register online right on the Somerset School District website. There's a tab that says Athletics and Activities on the left-hand side. You or your parents can click that. You go on, do all the registration. There's some forms that you have to fill out, which is the first part of that. The second part is you have to have either a physical or an alternate year card completed and uploaded. A lot of times during the fall we have seen instances where someone uploads it but they don't actually hit submit. So make sure that that document's uploaded and we hit submit on that. Typically freshmen and juniors have to have a physical. Sophomores and seniors have to have an alternate year card filled out. A physical means you have to go to the doctor, they have to do a physical, fill out a form, and sign off. An alternate year card, you and your parent or guardians are able to fill that out. If you did a fall sport, you don't need to do this part. You've already done that because you did a fall sport. This is for someone who's coming out for a winter sport, they didn't do a fall sport. If you're not sure, do I need a physical or do I need an alternate year card? Please see Miss Chapik in the office. Either email her or stop in and see her. She'll be able to help you know what has to be turned in. The other part of online registration is the fees. That has to also be paid. Between Miss Chapik and myself, we share a list with the coaches so they know exactly who hasn't even registered, who's missing something, or who's completely cleared. You're not able to begin practicing until you've met all those requirements. The third part of registration is the impact test. Again, if you did a fall sport, you're good. You don't have to complete the impact test. If you didn't do a fall sport, you do need to do the impact test. See myself, Mr. Siggins, or Miss Chapik to set up a time to do that. There are instances where we can do that during the school day when you have an empty mod. Again, that kind of goes through the registration process for winter sports. Make sure your fall equipment's in. Get online and register. Even if you did a fall sport, you still have to register. The only difference is you won't have to do a physical or alternate year card again. And if you didn't do a fall sport, get the impact test done. The final component that I want to talk about, and we try to send out some emails to your class group messages via email, are grades. We have to check grades at the middle of the term, which is November 2nd. So we'll give the teachers that weekend to get their grade books updated. Monday morning, November 5th, we run a grade report. Any student that has a failing grade, an incomplete, or their GPA falls below a 1.5, they are academically ineligible for 15 school days. Then we monitor it to make sure that grades are back passing, GPA is above a 1.5, all those good things, and then you would regain eligibility. You can still practice, but you can't participate in games. So that's a critical date for you. November 2nd is the middle of the term. We pull grades then on that Monday morning. We get the weekend to make sure those assignments and work that's completed have a chance to get updated and graded. But bottom line, make sure you're monitoring your grades and taking care of your part in the classroom. Thanks everybody. Have a great 3-day weekend. Good luck to the football team Friday. Good luck to the fall drama performance that's coming up the second weekend in November.
Good morning, Somerset Spartans. For your weather today and through the rest of the week, there is a possibility of rain, but it's still better than snow, with temperatures in the high 40s. For your weekend, it'll also include some clouds. How boring. Where are the huge blizzards? This is Wisconsin. In world news, the Hong Kong Zhuhai Bridge has opened in China, which links Hong Kong and mainland China together. This massive bridge is slightly late in its opening, being a few years, but it is a massive 34-mile long structure. And like many other things, it's made in China. Wait, does that mean it's gonna break in 3 days? What's not made in China these days? Hurricanes. Hurricane Willow increases power to Category 4 or 5. It's still being debated by scientists in the Pacific side of North America and just spiraling towards Mexico. Everyone says this major Category 4 tropical cyclone will make tremendous landfall in the southwest Mexican area, or in English, big cloud of death coming, so let's all run. Needs something less rounded, but is a lot colder, but not entirely Wisconsin's winter. NASA was looking at Antarctica because, you know, when you don't have spaceships, penguins are obviously next in line. And they found a seemingly perfect square iceberg. This thing also wasn't as small as you might think. It's about a mile wide across. Have a great extended weekend.
He isn't very worldly, but here's Luke and Christina with an interview with Mr. Carter.
Hi, I'm Luke, and this is new English teacher, Carter.
Name's Carter. Jeffrey Carter.
I hear you're into music. How did that all come about?
Music's been alive in my life since I've been alive in my life. I was born in Duluth, Minnesota, the same place the legendary Bob Dylan was born. I consider myself a direct descendant, but only by heart.
So, what do you like to do in your free time besides music?
Is my free time. Amongst that, I consider myself an artist of all genres and categories, including written word and spoken word and push-ups.
So besides the fact that you could do a lot of push-ups, you're an English teacher. What brought you to become an English teacher?
Well, in all seriousness, I grew up with English as my all-time favorite subject. Reading, writing, the whole shebang, it was awesome. It was me, it was what I wanted. And when I got to high school, my teachers weren't. I didn't feel that my teachers shared my passion for English as much as I thought they should have.
What are your thoughts on orange juice with pulp?
I like apple juice.
So I always hear music playing by your room. Could you show me what that's all about?
Well, it's funny you should ask. I do have a Spotify premium account.
No, the thing with the strings on it.
This thing?
Yeah, that thing.
Oh!
Oh, thanks, Mr. Carter. We're gonna free fall on out of here.
Thanks for watching, SHS.
And enjoy your long weekend.
Get it!